3 miraculous habits revealed to supernaturally transform your future with divine protection. Clara sat on the worn pew in her small church, the sunlight streaming through the stained glass, illuminating her face. The air was thick with hope, as the songs of her congregation echoed around her. She was the embodiment of faith, a beacon of light for her community. Known for her kindness and unwavering belief in St. Jude, the saint of impossible causes, she often felt a divine purpose propelling her to guide others through hardships. Today, however, that sense of peace was shattered in an instant. Just days ago, her son, Timmy, was laughing, riding his bike, full of life. Now he lay in a hospital bed, pale and still. Clara could hardly comprehend it. She felt as though the earth had dropped from beneath her. Wasn't faith supposed to bring comfort? Could it heal the impossible? As she navigated the corridors of doubt, she felt the walls of her world closing in. In her distress, Clara turned to 3 sacred habits that she believed would protect and transform their future. Every morning began with fervent prayers that danced off her lips, filling their home with an atmosphere of hope. The walls held onto her words, reverberating through each room. "St. Jude, intercede for us," she whispered, a plea echoing against the silence. Scripture meditation became a secure sanctuary. With each passage she read, Clara felt a close connection to God. It felt like a divine embrace, the very air around her thick with presence. She locked her gaze on a verse that promised hope when all seemed lost. "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit." The weight of those words began to lift her soul. But the greatest change unfolded in her acts of kindness. She began filling lunch baskets for families in need, knitting blankets for the lonely, and hosting prayer circles at the church. The ripples of charity were profound, restoring hope to those who felt lost just like her. Yet doubt lingered, casting shadows in her heart, whispering that perhaps her steadfast faith could not weather this storm. During a pivotal Sunday service, Clara stood before her fellow church members, her heart a parched desert desperate for rain. With trembling hands, she shared a raw prayer. Tears glossed over her eyes as she poured out her fears. "Lord, we come before you, longing for a miracle for Timmy." Her voice quaked, filling the room with a tangible desperation. Suddenly, an electric charge swept through the congregation, and Clara felt it a force of unity, as if the very air shimmered with divine expectancy. Gasps filled the church as she witnessed an incredible sight. Timmy stepped through the doors, smiling and alive. It felt like heaven had touched their world in the most extraordinary way. The congregation erupted in astonished praise. Clara's heart raced, breathless with disbelief. Had she just witnessed a miracle? The atmosphere buzzed with an energy that knitted their community tighter, igniting a renewed faith that transformed hearts. But even amid the joy, Clara stood on the edge of an inner battle. What really was the nature of divine intervention? As she pondered this heavy question, darkness circled, whispering doubt again. What would Clara do next with her faith shining, yet uncertainty looming like a cloud? The possibilities were endless, and so were the miracles waiting just outside their grasp. Would they dare to hope again? As the echoes of praise celebrated their miraculous revival, the path ahead lay shrouded in both promise and profound questions about faith. Clara's heart felt a whirlwind of emotions. Joy and relief intertwined with the gnawing shadow of uncertainty. She had rejoiced at Timmy's unexpected return, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that this miracle came with an unspoken challenge. What did it mean for her and her family? Did God turn their situation around only for them to wait for the next storm? As she stood amidst the murmurs of praise in the church, she watched Timmy play with other children, his laughter a sweet melody of life. Yet even as she marveled at this divine gift, questions about faith lingered in her mind. Had she truly experienced a miracle, or was it a fleeting moment of grace destined to fade? Could her faith withstand potential future trials? Weeks passed, and Clara found herself drawn deeper into her prayers, seeking guidance. Every morning, she entered her sacred space, her small corner adorned with candles and scripture. As she knelt, she poured out her soul. "Lord, let me understand. Why did Timmy return when so many do not? Is there a purpose in this miracle? In those moments, she was met with silence, but it was a stillness filled with possibility. The days were long, yet Clara leaned into them with intention. She began to notice the world around her, the struggles of others heightened her own appreciation. Each face she encountered seemed to tell a story of hope and despair, mirroring her journey. One crisp autumn morning, Clara noticed a young woman sitting alone at the church steps. Tears streamed down her cheeks, a picture of sorrow. Clara approached cautiously, driven by compassion. "Are you okay? Can I help?" she asked, her voice soft, filled with the warmth of shared burdens. The woman raised her head, her eyes alarmingly deep with pain. "I just lost my mother. I don't know how to keep going." The words hung heavy between them, laden with unspoken grief. Clara knelt beside her. "I understand. Feels profoundly lonely, doesn't it? I faced losses too, yet through prayer I found strength. Would you allow me to pray with you?" The woman nodded, her gaze softening as they prayed together. Clara sensed a shift, not just for the woman, but within herself. This act of love unlocked something greater, a reminder that faith was not just to be held but shared. With each prayer, Clara felt the bonds of her heart expand, filling with empathy and understanding. Days turned to months, and Timmy grew stronger, his laughter now a staple of their home. Yet Clara still battled quiet storms of doubt. She often found herself at the church, seeking peace amidst the chaos of thoughts. It was during one such evening service that she heard the pastor speak of a divine purpose tied to miracles. "Every blessing calls us to be a blessing to others," he proclaimed with fiery resolve. Those words washed over Clara like cool rain on parched earth. Could it be? She thought. What if the miracle of Timmy was not solely for her, but meant to propel her into a mission? To light a path for others struggling in darkness? With renewed fervor, Clara began organizing community outreach at church. They held gatherings, sharing stories of hope and loss. As families came together, Clara felt a revival of faith ignite. Yet still, doubts crept in. What if her efforts weren't enough? What if others didn't see the blessings the same way she did? As she wrestled with these thoughts, she could not shake the feeling that God had more in store for her. What awaited beyond this renewed purpose? The horizon buzzed with opportunities yet unseen. Clara braced herself, trusting in the whisper of divine direction. Was she ready for this new season of faith? Only time would tell if the miracles unfolding around her were just the beginning of a larger, breathtaking journey into the realm of the impossible. Clara awoke one morning with a renewed sense of purpose. The air felt different, charged with expectancy. She rose early, before the sun peeked over the horizon, and retreated into her sacred space, where the flickering candlelight danced in tune with her fervent prayers. "Lord, guide my steps today," she murmured, her heart racing. "Lead me where you want me to go." She felt a sense of urgency, a pull towards something greater than herself. As the day unfolded, Clara decided to visit a local shelter she had often heard about. It was a place brimming with stories of struggle, but also, Clara hoped, with stories of hope. She recalled the faces of those she encountered in her community gatherings, each one needing encouragement, just like she had once needed strength. Today, she would be a vessel of that strength. Walking into the shelter, Clara felt a wave of emotions wash over her. The worn faces of men and women shared tales of trials that she could only imagine. Yet amidst the weariness, she saw glimmers of resilience and strength. She greeted everyone with a warm smile but soon realized her voice wavered, a lump rising in her throat as she moved about. She met Eleanor, an elderly woman with eyes that sparkled with wisdom. "You're a sight for sore eyes," Eleanor said, her voice strong yet tender. "What brings you here, dear?" "I felt compelled to come," Clara replied, her heart pounding. "I'm trying to understand how to best share the blessings I've received." Eleanor nodded knowingly. "When you give from your heart, dear, you receive back tenfold. Just be open." Clara spent the day serving food, listening to stories, and laughing with the children who darted around, laughter bubbling like a spring. There, She felt her own spirit lift, lightening with every shared moment. Yet, even amongst the joy, doubts began to creep in once more. What difference could she truly make? Did her humble efforts even matter in the grand scheme of things? These questions rattled her as she returned home that evening. Sitting on the porch beneath a sky now painted with stars, Clara breathed out the heaviness of her heart. She looked up. "Father, am I on the right path? Is this your will?" Shortly after, a familiar sound caught her attention, the chaotic but delightful sound of children playing next door. It was Timmy and his friends. In that moment, a flood of memories rushed over her. Timmy's laughter, the joy of his return, the realization of life's fragility. Clara understood then that faith wasn't merely about grand gestures or big miracles. It resided in the small, everyday moments where love was given and received. The next Sunday, during service, Clara stood up with renewed courage. "I want to share something," she began, voice trembling but steady. "I've learned that miracles aren't only the monumental events we often pray for. They happen in our actions when we love one another, when we uplift those around us." Her words resonated deeply, prompting nods among her congregation, eyes welling with shared understanding. As she stepped down, Clara felt a wave of excitement wash over her. She sensed she was on the cusp of something awe-inspiring. Yet, a lingering uncertainty whispered to her. What more did God need from her? Was she prepared to dive into the uncharted waters of faith that beckoned her? With her heart full yet questioning, she returned home, where the laughter of children faded into the night. What awaited she and Timmy in the days to come? Would her willingness to act on the call deepen her faith and draw more souls into the light? Only time would reveal the full beauty of God's plan. The days rolled by like a gentle stream, each one bringing fresh inspiration and new uncertainties to Clara's heart. The glow of her experience at the shelter lingered, but so did the whisper of doubt. Every morning, she returned to her sacred space, candles flickering as she poured out her thoughts and prayers, each plea dripping with a mix of faith and apprehension. "Lord, what is it you seek from me? Show me the way. Guide my heart." The little voices of laughter next door kept her spirit buoyed. Yet each giggle also reminded her of her responsibility. How could she be a source of light like Timmy? She wanted to weave her days with the threads of service, but self-doubt tangled the fabric of her intentions. One evening, while reflecting on her journey, Clara felt compelled to revisit the shelter. Something inside stirred a calling she could no longer ignore. Perhaps sharing her own transformative story could inspire others. Perhaps it would reignite the flickering flame she held within her. The shelter welcomed her with open arms, and she found herself drawn to Eleanor once more. Their conversations became a dance of wisdom, with Eleanor often steering the compass of implementation. "You see, Clara," Eleanor emphasized one day, her voice rich with experience, "sharing your heart creates a ripple that reaches far beyond what we can see. Reflect on how even the smallest acts can leave lasting impressions." With renewed determination, Clara started volunteering not just within the shelter's walls, but also in her neighborhood. She organized community picnics, initiated book readings for children, and launched sharing hours where anyone could come and share their stories, both serious and silly. Each event was a testament to her growing commitment, a declaration of her heart's desire to be God's instrument of peace. As she engaged with her community, joyful moments bloomed around her. The laughter of children, echoes of pure delight, became her soothing balm. Then the divine revealed itself in unexpected forms. One afternoon, during a reading circle, she noticed a mother watching with tear-filled eyes. After the session, Clara approached her. "Is everything okay?" The woman paused, her voice trembling. "I used to believe that goodness had passed me by. I lost hope. But seeing you with these children, the way you embrace each moment, I feel the light returning." Clara's heart soared. Another precious reminder that even small efforts could ignite change. The divine presence shimmered in the air, offering Clara a glimpse of what her obedience was sowing. She realized that hope binds hearts together. However, a nagging question returned, demanding her attention. Was it truly enough? Was she equipped to foster such profound change? The greater her circle of influence grew, the louder those doubts rang. Each evening, deep in prayer, she sought clarity, searching the heavens with yearning eyes. Then one night, as she lay in bed, she remembered God's assurance. "My strength is made perfect in your weakness." With those words, her anxiety began to dissolve like mist beneath a rising sun. Yet, just when she thought she understood what her role was, a new opportunity unfolded. An invitation arrived for a community outreach event, an evening grander than anything she had ever attempted. It called for a bold step into uncharted territory, drawing her toward possibilities she had not dared to conceive as plans materialized around her. Clara felt the tension between fear and faith swirl within. Could she truly be the change, leading with love, in such a vast setting? What awaited her at this event? With a heart full of anticipation and doubt, she took a deep breath, sensing that her journey was only beginning. What divine wonders might await if she had the courage to leap into the unknown? The time for revelation was near. The excitement buzzed in Clara's heart like the chirping of crickets on a warm summer night. This outreach event felt different. She sensed it in her bones, the air thick with purpose and promise, like a sacred invitation swirling around her spirit. Clara spent the days leading up to the event immersed in preparations, working closely with the team and feeling every moment pulse with divine anticipation. Together, they shaped the vision, wanting to create a space where love and connection flowed freely as the sun dipped low. Painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Clara stood before the crowd gathering in the community park. Her eyes scanned the sea of faces, some familiar, some new, and her heart quickened. Each person there carried their story, their struggles, and maybe their triumphs, too. A hush fell over the crowd, and she felt a wave of warmth wrap around her, almost like a guiding embrace. With a deep breath, she stepped forward to welcome everyone. Her voice trembled slightly, but she pushed through. "Thank you all for being here tonight. Tonight, we gather not just as neighbors, but as a family." The moment felt electric. With each word, Clara shared her journey, her struggles, and the moments that unearthed her own faith. She spoke of doubt, and how those nights filled with prayer sought to fill her with courage. The crowd listened intently, their faces illuminated by the glow of string lights overhead and the flicker of hope mingling with the night air. Then, an unexpected silence enveloped the gathering when Clara shared her mantra. "In our weakest moments, we can find God's greatest strength." A murmur of agreement swept through the audience, their hearts resonating with this truth. They felt the warmth of her testimony, a collective response igniting the spark within as the evening unfolded. Clara led activities that encouraged connection, small groups where laughter mingled with tears, poignant stories swapped like precious gifts. Elders shared wisdom, children reveled in joy, and Clara's heart swelled with gratitude. Each shared moment felt like another thread woven into a vast tapestry of life. But amidst the warmth, a flicker of doubt still lingered. Could she maintain this energy? The joy intoxicated her, yet whispers of uncertainty sneaked back into her thoughts, asking if she could truly inspire change in everyone's lives. As Clara glanced at Eleanor, who watched from the side, her eyes glimmering with pride, a divine warmth flooded her spirit. It made the uncertainties appear smaller and more manageable. She suddenly understood the role of every heart in a community their collective love was meant to uplift, not just one but all. Then, the sky grew darker, stars sparkling fiercely above them, as if the heavens themselves were bestowing blessings upon the gathering. In that moment, Clara felt a surge of inspiration. Let us not only celebrate here, but let us take what we build tonight out into the world, she urged, her voice imbued with passion. As they joined hands, the circle pulsed with love. An unmistakable peace swept over them, wrapping every heart in warmth. Yet, Clara knew deeper revelations lay before her, just as the evening light began to dim. With resolute spirit, she resolved to embrace all that lay ahead, knowing that with faith, even the smallest ripple can create monumental waves. In that heart-stirring moment, she spotted a young girl gazing curiously at her, eyes wide with wonder. The girl held a small piece of paper, her own dreams, fears, and desires written down, trembling in one hand like a delicate whisper. What awaited in the sharing of those tender dreams? With a heartbeat of excitement, Clara reached out, her spirit longing to unlock the potential that lay ahead. What stories would emerge from the depths of this gathering, and how would they reverberate into the world? Clara knelt down closer to the young girl, her heart fluttering with anticipation. The world around them faded, leaving just the two of them in their shared moment. "What's your name, sweetheart?" she asked gently, her voice soft like the summer breeze. "Lila," the girl whispered, her cheeks flushing a subtle pink. Clara could see the hopes and dreams sparkling in her eyes, waiting to be shared. "Lila," Clara repeated with warmth. "That's beautiful. What dreams are tucked away in that paper you're holding?" The girl hesitated, biting her lip, wrestling with the courage to open up. Clara sensed the weight of this moment, the precious gift of vulnerability. It's my dreams of being an artist," Lila finally squeaked out, her voice a mix of excitement and fear. "But I don't think I'm good enough." As the words escaped Lila, Clara's heart twisted. How many had felt the same way? "But what if," Clara suggested, leaning in closer, "you are more talented than you know? What if your art is a gift meant to inspire others?" Lila's eyes widened, her fears battling with newfound hope. "I just want to paint the world brighter," she said, voice trembling with emotion. "Then let it be so," Clara encouraged, her spirit alight with the conviction that every child's dream held the power to transform. "Shall we share it with everyone? You never know who might need to hear your dreams tonight." With a brave nod, Lila unfolded her paper, revealing vibrant drawings adorned with swirling colors and bold strokes. Clara stood back, motioning for the crowd to gather closer. She felt the stirring energy within her, urging her to spotlight the brightness that Lila possessed. As the crowd settled around, eyes trained on Lila, Clara watched the girl's confidence blossom. Each stroke of the crayon came alive with laughter and shared dreams, a dance of hope spoken in colors that wrapped around their hearts. "This is what community means," Clara thought, lifting each other when the shadows loom. The young artist hesitated, but Clara whispered to her that every artist starts somewhere, and the beauty of art lies not in perfection but in expression. Soon, Lila stood tall, sharing her visions with unabashed sincerity. The crowd responded with claps and cheers, lifting her spirits higher. That moment felt pivotal, as if the heavens themselves rejoiced at the pure faith embodied in a child's heart. Clara witnessed the shift happening not just within Lila but echoing through each person present. They began to realize the power of their dreams and voices, how they could indeed inspire change. As Clara leaned back, absorbed in the magic unfurling around her, she felt an unshakable urge rising within. Faith is more than believing. It's releasing ourselves into the wild unknown, where miracles thrive. But then, amidst the joyous celebrations, a familiar face emerged from the crowd. It was Marcus, a community member whose thick walls of skepticism had always shadowed his presence. He stood at the fringe, watching with an expression that hadn't escaped Clara's notice. Was that a flicker of curiosity in his eyes, or was it the seed of doubt still holding him back? As the atmosphere pulsed with joy, Clara felt a tug to approach him. What could he possibly be feeling? What might he see in this moment? The others danced in the light of hope, while Marcus lingered in the shadows. Would his heart remain closed, or could this night be the catalyst for his transformation too? Clara took a deep breath, ready to follow the spirit's prompting. What would happen when she ventured toward Marcus? Would he open his heart to the radiant love surrounding them? The night held more questions, and within it, the whisper of divine purpose began to weave itself, shaping something extraordinary for everyone present. Clara stepped away from the joyful gathering with Lila, still painting color across the hearts of the crowd. As she moved toward Marcus, she felt a shift in the air, as if the very elements sensed the weight of her mission. Fear and hope danced hand in hand in her spirit, both urging her forward and whispering doubts. Marcus had often stood apart, arms crossed, his guarded expression suggesting he had long since made up his mind. What would it take to penetrate those walls? She arrived beside him, her heart a blend of prayer and determination. "Marcus," she began softly, letting the warmth of her voice flow like a gentle stream. He turned, surprised to find her there. "What do you see?" For a moment he didn't respond. His eyes scanned the bright colors swirling in Lila's art, the laughter bubbling around them. Clara watched as his brow furrowed slightly, confusion evident as he struggled with what to feel. It's impressive, he finally admitted, though the skepticism still danced on his lips. But it's just a child's art. Clara bristled, but not with anger. No, Marcus, it's not just that. It's a glimpse of the divine, a spark from God that can ignite hope in others. Don't you feel that? His gaze dropped, and for a moment, the weight of the world seemed to settle on his shoulders. Clara felt a wave of compassion wash over her. Marcus carried burdens she could hardly fathom. Why are you here? Clara asked, genuine curiosity replacing apprehension. What do you really want? A sigh escaped him, and finally, the armor began to crack. I want to believe, Clara. I do. But the world, it's harsh. People get hurt. Hope can be a dangerous thing. Yes, Clara acknowledged gently, her heart aching at his words. But hope can also heal, can inspire us to rise above our chains. Look at Lila. She is not afraid, and it's contagious. When you allow yourself to feel hope, you become free. He looked up, really looking now. Clara placed a hand gently on his arm, feeling the warmth radiate between them, like an electric charge of divine potential. Imagine if you could dream again, Marcus. It's not about the safety of the familiar. It's about stepping into what God has for you. Just like Lila, you have dreams waiting to be expressed. For a brief moment, she thought she saw a flicker of light pass through those skeptically shaded eyes. Hope is a wild thing. It breaks down walls and offers possibilities. I've tried, he whispered, almost to himself. But what if I fail again? What if I'm not enough? Even when we stumble, God catches us, Clara said, her heart swelling with fervor. He sees the brave steps we take into the unknown. It's never about perfection. It's about the journey, the act of believing. The crowd erupted once more in cheer as Lila held her vibrant, childlike paintings aloft, each burst of energy drawing in hearts and souls. Clara felt the warmth intensifying between her and Marcus as he watched the joy unfold before him. Will you let go of your fears? Clara asked, her voice steady but laced with compassion as he hesitated. A shift began to happen. The tension in his shoulders eased, a hint of new possibility flickering in his eyes. Clara could sense the seeds of transformation starting to take root. Perhaps Marcus started, but then he fell silent, gazing back at the celebration. The mixture of hope and skepticism played on his face like a delicate balance. The night held profound magic, the kind that reshapes destinies. How many hearts could Marcus's revelation embrace? What miracles could spring forth if he decided to step into his dreams? Clara took a step closer, drawn by the divine anticipation settling like dew on her spirit. She wanted to help him explore this moment fully, breathe life into the raw questions swirling in his mind. But then she felt it, the familiar tug of the spirit, a call toward deeper transformation. What would it demand of Marcus? What lies beneath the surface of his doubts? In the glow of the celebration, she stood poised at the edge of a new journey. Would he choose to dive headfirst into the depths of faith and discovery, or would he retreat into the shadows once more? The night held its breath in suspense, and Clara could feel the divine mystery unfolding. What awaited them both in the sacred weaving of purpose and promise? The story was just beginning. The laughter echoed around them, a bright symphony that filled the open space with joy. Clara stood with Marcus, her heart racing like the wings of a dove, eager for him to leap into the realm of faith. She could feel the warmth between them grow, a glow that seemed to illuminate the doubts lurking in his heart. Just take a breath and look around, Clara urged gently, her voice a soothing balm. See how hope is tangible here? It's alive, moving through this crowd. It can touch you too. As his shoulders relaxed further, she noticed the corners of his mouth twitch, as if a smile was wrestling its way to the surface. Another cheer from Lila's fans erupted, and for the first time, Clara sensed a crack opening in his hardened exterior. Can I really allow myself to feel hope? Marcus finally asked, vulnerability breaking through the walls he built. The glimmer in his questioning eyes showed a willingness to consider a new reality. Absolutely. Clara's excitement bubbled up. Hope is a choice we make daily. It often starts as a whisper, but when nurtured, it can grow into a mighty roar. He turned his gaze back toward Lila, who was spinning in delight, the paintbrush seemingly a magic wand in her tiny hand. The paintings held stories of dreams unburdened by the contradictions of adulthood. Clara recognized the potential for Marcus to see himself through that childlike lens. She took another step closer, her heart whispering prayers of encouragement. "Remember when you were a boy?" she asked, her voice light but layered with depth. "What did you dream then? What did you want to be?" His brow furrowed once more, but this time, there was a flicker of nostalgia in his eyes. "I wanted to create," he admitted slowly, the words almost foreign to him. "I used to sketch, but life got complicated. I lost that part of myself. I was afraid, Clara." "Fear is a trickster," Clara replied, emboldened by the spirit stirring within her. "Can paralyze us, but it can also be a launchpad for unimaginable growth. Think of it this way. Every time we step into fear with faith, we are actually creating space for something miraculous to happen." She tightened her grip on his arm, drawing him into an intimate connection. Each heartbeat felt like a prayer to relinquish the past and unlock the future. "Let us be brave together," she suggested softly, searching his eyes for recognition of what they could achieve. "Let us sprinkle Lila's joy into the corners of your heart that are still dark. Let us chase away the shadows." Marcus's gaze dropped back to Lila, who was now surrounded by a chorus of delighted children. She was standing tall, bathed in praise and admiration, and as she beamed brighter than the stars overhead, Clara felt another shift. Change was afoot. "Maybe, just maybe, I could pick up a pencil again," Marcus murmured, a flicker of life returning to his voice. "That's it." Clara cheered, her eyes sparking with encouragement. Every great journey begins with a single step, a single choice to believe. But just then, she felt a stir among the crowd. It was profound and unsettling, like a wind whispering warnings. The celebration's light dimmed momentarily, and Clara could feel Marcus's heartbeat quickening beside her. "What's happening?" he asked, his skepticism returning alongside a hint of panic. Clara looked toward the crowd, where a gathering of figures emerged, shadows rising from the edges of bright colors. These figures moved with purpose, and in their midst, she sensed a darkness seeking to intrude. "Stay close," she whispered. The air crackled with tension. "Whatever happens, we stand together." As the figures neared, Clara's pulse raced. There was something vital in this moment, some divine confrontation unfolding that could determine their next steps. What awaited them as shadows danced menacingly at the heart of a joyful celebration? Could a single choice to embrace hope defy the encroaching darkness threatening to unravel their fragile leap into faith? The night was alive with uncertainty, and Clara stood firm, poised at the brink of an unfolding mystery. What revelation was about to take place as they faced the challenges ahead? The tension in the air thickened as the figures approached, their movements almost in sync, a grotesque mimicry of the joy surrounding them. Clara clutched Marcus's arm tighter, her heart mingling with the fervent prayers that spiraled from her spirit. She could feel the weight of the moment, laden with potential, hovering just above them like a storm cloud. "Don't look away," she whispered, her voice steady even as dread coursed through her. "Stay rooted in hope." Marcus's brow was furrowed deeply, shadowed thoughts battling against the flickers of inspiration ignited earlier. "They look worried, like they're here to ruin everything," he stammered, glancing nervously at the encroaching gloom. Clara shook her head, urging him to meet her gaze. "This is our moment to choose boldness over fear. As darkness approaches, it makes the light inside us more potent." Thus, resolve began to kindle in Marcus's eyes, flickering against the tide of doubt. Clara could sense the warmth emanating from his heart, a light struggling to illuminate the encroaching shadows as the dark figures closed in. She caught glimpses of their faces twisted with anguish and despair. In the midst of their chaotic energy, an oddly familiar face caught her attention. It was a neighbor from her childhood, one who had fallen away into darkness after a series of unfortunate events. For a moment, their eyes locked, and Clara felt the weight of that shared history, the confused longing for redemption, the silent prayer for guidance. "Clara," the figure called, her voice brittle with despair. "You don't know what you're stepping into." The crowd around them had fallen silent, anticipation hanging like ripe fruit waiting to be plucked. Clara took a step forward, her heart racing, unyielding. "Whatever darkness you feel, it doesn't define you," she proclaimed, her voice rising above the tension. "You can still turn to the light. There's always hope." The darkness rippled, almost reacting to her declaration. Marcus watched in astonishment, the fight igniting fire within him, spurred on by Clara's boldness. "Don't listen to her," cried another figure from deep within the encroaching shadows. "You'll only be disappointed again. You have no home here." Clara turned back to Marcus. "But we do have a home, an everlasting one. Let us reclaim that promise. Hold on to hope with me." He nodded, and together they took a few steps, sidestepping the fear that threatened to tether them. Clara's spirit flared with an unseen light, sending ripples into the crowd. She felt the connection with every heart around their hopes, dreams, and sacred aspirations. The dark figures recoiled slightly, momentarily halted by the encroaching warmth. Clara saw the flicker of recognition in some of their eyes, as if her words were thrumming a string deep within their souls. Together, Clara shouted, her voice a call to arms. "Let us choose faith. Let us choose joy." It was as if the very heavens responded to her outcry. A breath of urgency filled the air, wrapping around them. Clara could feel the divine presence rushing in, illuminating even the darkest corners of their hearts. Soaring laughter began to emerge from the children, echoing against the darkness like an anthem of faith. The voices rallied around her, weaving a tapestry of hope that surged forward. "See, Marcus," Clara said, joy blooming within her. "Light shines brightest in the shadows. Look at how they're responding." He gasped, his heart thawing in a wave of unexpected connection. "It's beautiful, I can feel it." The shadows shifted as if mistrustful of the light. Yet the crowd began to stir, whispers of faith mingling with the stakes of triumph over despair. Clara's heart soared. They were beginning to embrace the miracle of unity born through shared faith. At that very moment, the ground beneath them vibrated gently, a reflection of their collective heartbeat. What was unfolding could only be described as a divine melody whispering promises dormant within each soul. But right before a new clarity could settle into their hearts, a chilling hush fell over the crowd. Instinctively, Clara turned, her breath escaping her as she beheld something unexpected, an even darker presence looming, threatening to overshadow the vibrant tapestry they had woven. "Clara," Marcus murmured, fear creeping back into his tone. "What now?" The question hung between them, pregnant with possibility. Could they confront this deeper shadow together? Would their newly kindled hope hold strong in the face of yet another challenge? As the air thickened with mystery, Clara closed her eyes, her spirit reaching for guidance. What revelation awaited them now at this precarious intersection of light and darkness? In that moment of palpable tension, Clara's heart quickened. The darkness looming before them felt heavier, as if it bore the weight of countless struggles. Yet as she opened her eyes and surveyed the crowd around her, a soft glow ignited in her spirit. A whisper tugged at her essence, urging her to act. "Remember, we're not alone. The divine within us is powerful," she called out, her voice ringing with conviction. "Each of us carries a spark that can light up even the darkest corners." The crowd shifted, breaths held in concerted anticipation. Clara's eyes locked onto Marcus, whose gaze brimmed with reluctant courage. She sensed that he stood on the edge of transformation, ready to dive into the depths of faith. Clara turned to the shadowy figures, confronting the darkness unyieldingly. "We reject despair. We embrace hope." Her voice resonated like a clarion call. "You don't have to hide in the shadows. There is light waiting for you." Too, with every word spoken, she felt the warmth emanating from her congregation, a wave of collective faith washing over them. The air shimmered with possibilities, and laughter of children once more echoed through the void, folding around the tense atmosphere like a comforting embrace. Marcus, emboldened by Clara's unwavering faith, stepped forward beside her. "And if we can choose hope, so can you." He projected his voice, now brimming with determination. "Let your past not define you. Break free from the chains of doubt." Something shifted within the shadows. Clara and Marcus watched as one figure faltered, the dark veil temporarily lifting to reveal a familiar face from the past, a neighbor who had once brought a smile to their community before falling away into grief. "Is that you, Clara?" The figure pleaded, the desperation cutting like a knife. "I've lost my way. I can't go back. It's too late for me. No, it's never too late." Clara shot back, her heart aglow with conviction. "You can step back into the light, just as we all can. You were made for joy, for love. Come join us." As Clara extended her hand, the darkness swirled in hesitation, and for a heartbeat, the air buzzed with electric possibility. A flicker of recognition sparked in the neighbor's eyes, wavering between despair and hope. "Choose faith," Clara urged gently. "Choose life." With tears glistening, the figure stepped into the light, and it felt as if a divine chorus joined their voices, lifting the spirits of those encircling her like angels singing songs of redemption. The shadows faltered, uncertainty coating the air like fog. More figures emerged from the depths, each wrestling between the pull of darkness and the lure of Clara's infectious faith. "Together we can break these chains," shouted Marcus, his passion reverberating through the air. The crowd surged forward, a living testament of love and resilience. Clara joined the chorus, hands raised in fervent prayer. A chant of hope, love, together, echoed throughout the park, transforming apprehension into a powerful force. She felt the weight of each heartbeat, measuring their shared resolve, and she prayed earnestly for each weary soul before her as if summoned by their unified strength. A radiant light burst forth from the center of the gathering. The embodiment of their faith surged, illuminating the darkness like a lightning bolt. Clara watched as the light rippled outward, washing over each shadow, igniting bright new possibilities. Tears streamed down the faces of those still tethered by despair as they began to shake free, discovering the renewed strength held within their hearts. Clara felt the divine presence flow through her, invigorating her spirit, lifting her closer to the heavens. The darkness tumbled back, and with it, the echoes of old sorrows began to fade. "You may stumble, you may fall," Clara declared, her voice unwavering, "but together, we rise. Together, we walk in love." One by one, shadows dissolved, metamorphosing into light, and the figures of their community embraced each other, joy transforming the very air into something sacred. Each soul was reborn, rekindled in the glory of faith, empowered to create and inspire anew. Even Marcus felt the warmth of hope wrap around him like a sacred shawl. Every doubt that had once gripped him began to melt under the glow of belief. Was it possible? Could he truly embrace his dreams once more? "Let your spirit soar, and let art find you again," Clara encouraged, seeing the spark igniting in his eyes. Gazing into the brilliance of the night, Marcus smiled for the first time, a spark of truth illuminating his heart. I will create," he declared boldly, a sense of destiny trailing behind his words. Clara knew then that faith was never merely a solitary journey but a collective voyage woven from the threads of each life transformed. Together, they had tapped into something miraculous, a reminder of the light hidden within each heart as the night closed around them. A profound peace settled over the gathering. The darkness had been confronted, the divine destiny fulfilled. They understood then that each individual had the power to walk boldly into the light, no matter the struggles faced. Clara watched as joy danced among her community, laughter mingling with the divine atmosphere. She had witnessed the miraculous unfolding of dreams, love blossoming amidst doubt. It wasn't just about her journey or her son, it was about each soul embracing the possibility of rebirth. In that moment, she lifted her arms high, surrendering to the divine flow, eyes shining with gratitude. A light has risen, and together, we will shine brightly. We were made for this, and with that commitment deep within their hearts, the night birthed a new chapter that called for each person present to step into a bright future. Now is the time to act. If you resonate with Clara's journey, then you need to subscribe now to the channel for more exclusive faith stories that inspire transformation. Like this video right now to feed the algorithm and spread the light of hope. Comment below your thoughts and reactions to the incredible journey of faith shared in this story. Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. Don't wait even one more second. Let us shine together as true servants of God.